So, ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. We will continue this part of our forum. And as I told before, the next panel discussion is a race for technological superiority, defense tech innovation and asymmetric response. So let's start, and I'd like to pass the word to the moderator of this panel discussion, Anna Gvozdiar, Deputy Minister for Strategic Industries of Ukraine. Anna, please welcome on stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy to see some familiar faces and some faces that I'm not still familiar with. But welcome all of you to Ukraine. You know, we have a big holiday today. It's a day today when we honor all the people, our defendants, boys and girls who are so brave to defend our freedom and our lives on the front lines. So I probably will start my speech from congratulations to all the people that gave us an ability to sit here. My panel is about race for technological superiority. This is probably the most interesting topic for all defense industries because Ukraine made already a significant step in development on defense technologies. I think that Ukrainian frontline is the most advanced in terms of using of different type of technologies. I will speak more about that with my speakers, but from the side of Ukrainian defense industry, I will probably tell you some numbers because last time we've met with you a year ago and we've met a lot of changes for this year. Like we've managed to increase the production of different type of UAV system. So now we're capable to produce over 4 million drones per year, and this is 2024, and we expect the growth in 2 times of our capabilities, of course, for the next years. We can produce over 20,000 electronic warfare system of different types, starting from small technical system to big strategic complex. Also, we made a great step in producing ground robotic system. We consider ground robotic system as the one of game changer, which is very important for us for next year because we try to substitute people everywhere where it is possible on the front line. So we understand that, for example, we can protect our borders with different type of ground robotic system, starting from combat system, logistic, medical evacuation, mining and demining system. And we can produce 20,000 of those systems per year for now. And of course, we expect the increase for the next year. So I would like to speak more with my dearest colleague, and I want to invite to the stage Andrii Lebedenko, who is Deputy of General Commander of Armed Forces of Ukraine. Nataliya Kushnerska is Chief Operating Officer at Brave One. Vladyslav Oleksiyenko, Chief Commercial Officer at ISR Defense. William Green, Head Task Force Kindred and Task Force Hirst, Ministry of Defense of the United Kingdom. And Brett Hash, Senior Vice President and General Manager, Loitering Munition System, AeroVironment. So speaking about technologies, all technologies which was born in Ukraine was our answer to new systems of our enemy. So if we speak about different types of drones, we created, those systems was created on the front line and was caused by need. For example, we started to produce a lot of FPV drones when it was like big lack of ammunition on the front line. ISR system was created to substitute people who was dealing with intelligence. So all of our defense technologies are born by military needs. So I would like to ask Andrii Lebedenko. I will switch to Ukrainian, okay? So you will just wear your...
Andrii, please give us an overview of production. Production grows in response to the needs of the army. So, what is available in the market? Meaning, what are the prospects for the most near production and where to go next? Glory to Ukraine, dear participants of the conference. My greetings to everyone. The question was clear. We're all bothered with one and the same thing for the moment. The trouble is asymmetry in battle at the battlefield. So first, this is about preserving maximum number of soldiers and overcoming remote distances. And the third is access to technologies and international partners and implementation of these technologies. Alongside the international partners will get a rise in expertise in terms of UAV and UAS production. So when it goes about technical side of cooperation, innovativeness of drones is something that goes without saying. It's clear that this is an instrument to achieve key targets, but this is an instrument that we have been deploying in a number of ways to be able to achieve advantages in the sky. And this means that when we are attacked in the sky, then we can bring down to zero any effort of the Russian attackers. The next is satellite technologies. This is also about optics. Such models are in broad use in Ukraine already. This provides us an opportunity to overcome barriers of the enemy that saturates the sky heavily. And when we speak about systemic cooperation, we shouldn't look for some gaps in the operations of the enemy. This means that the current systems work despite what the enemy has to suggest. So speaking about UAVs and UASs, when we touch upon the most complicated and high precision equipment, then the armed forces prefer to use robotized land and air forces prefer land warfare, land equipment, land weaponry. So the air forces also deploy the same, and for more than 6 months we have been deploying AI robotics, and they have shown their effectiveness. And when we face the threat of the Russian UAVs and UASs, we sort of intercept them, and we have changed the rules of game where Shaheds or Ulan or some other models, once compared to missiles, have no compatibility in price. This provides us exhaustion. This is a sort of exhaustion in our production, and we made decisions which allow us to make cheaper of one UAV and UAS through the use of interceptors. These are drones which have some optics in it and some quality dimensions which allow not only to navigate up front and intercept UASs and UAVs of the enemy, but also to hit them and crash. So the next is strike UAVs and UASs that while assembling prove really reliable, and the intelligence and communication staff use it rather effectively. So they are high quality, and they resist to the equipment that our enemy uses to counter us. So this means that while using the modern digital telecommunications, they again give preference to some electronics which will have to find solution to on our side, and we will help you to raise awareness, and my current count says that our joint effort will help you believe in courage, braveness, and military experience that will also help to positively deploy in the future to higher pace all of those instruments which will impact our development in the future. If you have some proposals for the ready-made decisions to test everything at ranges and then at our experimental ranges and sites, you're more than welcome to address me with them. Thank you very much.
This is probably the most important words that we all can hear from bravest army in the world, and our army is like creator of our focus of our development for future. But I also would like to ask Nataliya Kushnerska, who is the mother of innovation startups in Ukraine, who is dealing a lot with all great ideas which are born in Ukraine, and create something that we call DefenceTech cluster. So we'd like to ask Nataliya, what was her impression about development for the last year? What new system we have see that appear and effectively work on the front line? And also, second question is what to expect in next months.
Thank you, sir. First of all, I wanted to say that all of our cluster actually of Brevan, that is main focus to deliver to the front line very fast innovations, and definitely we work in the interest and for their usage of our armed forces. And as Andrii was telling us what are actually the needs, and we have very straight cooperation, so we understand what's the request, what is the need, and then we go to the market and we understand what are already ready to use solutions that we can deliver to the front line, or we gather together all the teams and talk to them, and we are just describing them what are technical requirements, or what's the need, or what we want actually to resolve, and then we can very fast to make that like R&D and prototype and stages in Ukraine, and to help these things to appear on the front line. So if to give as well as our armed forces, they presented maybe the main asymmetrical issues and solutions we're working on now, but I want you to give some numbers to understand what is Ukrainian defense innovations now in numbers. So now with the Brevan platform, we have more than 2,800 solutions, and 1,500 of them passed through military expertise and got status Brevan. That means that after military expertise, they're known to be interesting, efficient, and needed for the front line. In a year, we have 200 newly codified products and innovations that can be used for the armed forces. In 1 year, 200 newly products. Yes, the major part of them are unmanned systems, as all of us understand that in Ukraine, and everybody talks about that today, that we need to keep our people out from the front line. So we are totally concentrated on the unmanned systems and their technology that are helping actually to develop that unmanned systems. We are doing as well a lot of job today with robotics, with ground unmanned systems. Just 1 year ago, we have had like around 21st prototypes that we were tested But today we have more than 200 different solutions with more than 100 teams working on different robotic systems. And as you know, we have already unmanned forces in Ukraine, and we are already implementing those robotic systems in the army already with this, within special brigades. And when we are talking about robotic systems as well, they are making very important missions like not only evacuation or logistic, but as well as combat, mining, demining. So we already made in Ukraine big success with the drones, with the UAVs, and now we are doing the same, I think, first steps of those success in robotic ground vehicles. So as well for AI, one more thing as well to add from about AI implementation, that it's not only for UAVs, and it's already, as you heard, already integrated good for the frontline, but as well we are using AI to work with the data, with their information tracks, to analyze it, to sort that, to counteract as well Russian propaganda. So is AI that is like trendy thing, not only in civilian life, but as well in the defense life as well in Ukraine. So within Brave-1 and within some numbers more for the last year, we were granted as a Brave-1 more than 300 projects with their total amount for more than $8 million. Those are all state money. We are doing a lot of attracting investments. In this year, already our Ukrainian companies, they attracted more than $15 million for their products. And just a small teaser, we have during this Defense Week as well investment forum on the Thursday and Friday, and it will be as well very good opportunity to talk to Ukrainian companies with their products and to understand what are actually their strong points and what are their products, just to cooperate with them. And one more thing I wanted as well to add, what Andrii told already, that we are more than open, first of all, to test your products. We are more than open to assist you in making right connections, to make common R&Ds with Ukrainian companies, to make joint ventures here in Ukraine, because definitely, and I think that everybody understands that today Ukraine has that unique possibility to test it very fast, to enhance it very fast, to have that extremely, again, deep and expertized feedback loop from the front line. And we are today more than open to engage with you and to work with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Nataliya. I want to ask Vlad, who is representing one of the, let's say, earliest companies appeared on Ukrainian market. The company started from big, very well-known rotor drone, which was used a lot on the front line. But after a year and a half, we see different direction of development and different products of your company. So I would like to ask about your experience. So why your company decided to pick different ways of developments of DefenceTech product, and what was your way for last year and a half?
Thank you for your question. First of all, thank you to all partners, all Europeans and American partners who supported Ukraine. So idea is very easy. So we put it the idea that we will not lose our soldiers on the front line. We are really willing that only machines should be taking part in the war. So that's why in our company was born a lot of different projects. So our company, for example, is the first one who are using the bomber drone on the front line from 2017. So after that, we get a hype on our country, and a lot of companies started to build a lot of huge and nice drones. So the second one, it's people. So we united a lot of talents and patriotic people. It's not scientists, it's a lot of professional engineers. It's just an architects, it's just an engineers, industrial, etc., who never take part in the military company. So we just reduce any rules, and we provided to our guys, to our engineers, a lot of freedom. So they should be like a creative. So Next one, we are going always to the front line. So we always tested our products on the front line with our soldiers. So in this case, we can bring to our company a lot of requirements and needs. So we are trying to build only machines that needs to our soldier, you know. We never imagine. We just asking, guys, what you need now. Also, I want to tell you that in terms of superiority with Russians, we always must be ahead to one step, because the most weak part of all drones in Ukrainian army, it's in my opinion, it's radio links, it's navigation, and the frequency changes should be changed every 3 months. If I will not change the frequency, if I will not find decision for the next 3 months, my drones will not fly. My drones will not have a capability to take part in the war. So that's why we are always trying to make a business relationship with our European partners, United Kingdoms, Americans, and we trying to cooperate with them in terms of radio links, for example. We are discussing this, some powerful sides and weak sides of their technologies, and we are trying to help them to update their radio links and to produce it and develop much powerful, which will work on the front line. So this cooperation give us capability to be on the one of the top companies in Ukrainian army. Thank you.
Thank you, Vlad. I think that Ukrainian companies have enough experience to share, and they are open enough to share experience with you. So please take a chance to speak to Ukrainian companies who've done amazing job, amazing way for last couple years. I'd like to ask William Green. I promised you a very easy question, but I don't have one. So United Kingdom is great partner, is a great friend to Ukraine, and you are doing a great job in supporting us, in supporting our armed forces. But I would like to ask you regarding the defense technology development, what we can do together, how you think that United Kingdom could contribute to our defense technology development, what are the possibility of both sides, how we can increase the development for both of our countries, and what can UK contribute to that?
Thank you very much for that easy question, and it's a real privilege to be here. I think I'd start by saying that the UK has learned an enormous amount from the experience of Ukraine. Those of you who've spoken to me before hear me say that we should obsess about capability and not about technology, but one of the great things I've seen in Ukraine is the way that you've been able to take that technology, adapt it into the hands of the users of your armed forces, and to continue to adapt it, as you just described, as the situation evolves. Those of you who know the UK well will know we have a strategic defence review going on at the moment that looks to shape the way the UK plans its capability for the next 10 years. And there's a huge amount of what's been happening in Ukraine that we're trying to wrap directly into that. But broadly, we've sort of gone through 3 phases. In the early days of the conflict, Task Force Kindred, which I have the privilege of leading, basically just tried to get whatever we could into the hands of Ukrainian users as fast as we could. We learnt a lot. Lots of it didn't work. I'm sorry about that. But we learnt a huge amount about what it took to make those capabilities work. In the UK, fairly rapidly thinned down the number of organisations that we worked with, because we learnt that it's the behaviours of the organisation that are almost as important as the product that they produce. And then we have gradually shifted then on into the 3rd phase. So that sort of middle phase worked for a while, but now with the realisation, exactly as the previous speaker said, that we need to get much closer to the front line. the connection between the user and the engineer needs to be absolutely intimate. And the UK is pushing really hard. As my colleagues have previously mentioned in a number of the themes, we're trying to get more of the UK contribution much closer both to the users but also to Ukrainian industry. There's a huge amount we can learn from what you've done. We can take some stuff back to the UK and assist you with scaling, producing components, providing materials forward, but also iterating at real pace with you. And one of the real values of international capability collaboration, which is a lot of my background, is the new ideas, new concepts, new thoughts that we can bring to how we do that. And we do that as the UK internationally. Very frequently, we jointly lead the Drone Capability Coalition with our Latvian colleagues. And there's a couple of competitions launched in the last few days. Similarly, I just add that I really respect the value of a competition. What we have done through the competitions that we've run is identify the behaviors as much as the products, and it's served us really well in terms of delivering capability into Ukraine. We are now opening up those competitions for Ukrainian industry to enter into as well, which allows me, as the person who's responsible for the Kindred budget, to flow my money into the Ukrainian system as well, helping with scaling against critical requirements.
Thank you so much for being such a good friend for us, and I think that we will have much more things for the next year. Brett, Harsh, I think that I might already mention that you've just signed a MOU with Ukrainian company. Brett Harsh is representing a big company from United States, very well known in the defense industry for producing unmanned systems. And you've signed MOU with Ukrainian company. It's big for our industry to get such a significant player with us. And first of all, congratulations, of course.
Thank you.
And I'd like to ask you about your experience. There probably was some way which you've passed to this MOU to be signed today. What was your way in terms of communication with local companies? Why Ukraine? And what you expect from this partnership?
Okay, thank you very much, Deputy Minister. First of all, I'd like to say I'm very, very proud to be here, not just as an American. Ukraine is very important for us. You're fighting this fight for the Western world. And I'm also, on behalf of about 1 million Ukrainian Americans, me being one of them, I'm proud to be here as well and support this just cause for victory. So right after the full-scale invasion that happened, our company was asked by the U.S. government to deliver small UAS, which we built by the tens of thousands for 50 plus allies plus U.S. forces, as well as the Switchblade products that I started about 14 years ago and predominantly had been used in COIN, counterinsurgency fights around the world for U.S. forces and our closest allies like the UK, and came to Ukraine. Our experience was initially really good experience because the Russians really were caught by surprise with this unique capabilities that we brought to the battlefield very quickly. But as we all know, they adapted, innovated on their side, specifically with jamming capabilities for the comlinks and global satellite navigation solutions. So with our partners here, with the defense forces and others and industry, we needed to adapt as quickly as possible as well. And that's really been the name of the game. As a we consider ourselves a defense tech company in the US, and so we're innovating at a very fast pace, versus, I'd say, the traditional big aerospace companies that I used to work for many years ago. But nothing is like what's happened here. The pace of innovation and what's happening with the Ukraine companies is just phenomenal. So it's surprising. In our industry, a lot of times when you go talk to what might seem as a competitor, they're closed door. They don't really want to share much with you unless they see what's the financial benefit. What I personally have experienced here in Ukraine over the last 2.5 years is a willingness that, hey, we're all in this together. Yeah, we will compete at some point, and there may be some competitions along the way, but the thing that is more important for all of us It's not about making money here. It's about figuring out how we have victory and stop this unlawful aggression that's going on. So the agreement you've just talked about really takes us to the next level. What we've been doing for the last couple years is having presence here, gaining information about what's happening with our systems on the battlefield so that we can quickly go back to our smart engineers on the West Coast. But where we are moving to is utilizing more and more Ukraine companies and their expertise here. The Switchblade and our small UAS products like Puma will become far, far better, not just for Ukraine defense forces, but it's clear that US and other close allies will need that same capability in the future when we face Russia or China in the next threats that are out there. So extremely important partnerships that we have here, and our intent is this is a long-term partnership. Thank you.
Thank you, Brett. I think that the most important was for people, for our listeners to hear that Ukraine industry is open enough. And it's important to understand that we are all together in this, and we have only partner and friends here. So I think this is a very good sign for other companies, because your example shows us actually that cooperation with Ukrainian defense industry is possible. And I would like to ask you just a very short question to each of you. Андрій Валерійович, скажіть, будь ласка, на найближчий час от топ
top 10 innovation that you expect from our companies and foreign companies. We expect those indeed, because our action is asymmetric. What we expect systems that pointing systems for drones to use in tactical zone second, stable systems of communications. We want to have networks which would be resistant to jammers, and we are talking about the front line here, and one of the issues questions is improvement of ammunition which are used by drones. We want to have them lighter and more effective. Thank you very much, Nataliya.
Innovations and the startups in Ukraine. What is your forecast for the next year? What we expect, like there may be in boom in some defense tech areas, maybe something specifically that just Deputy Chief mentioned, or maybe you see some also civilian technology that comes a lot to defense industry.
First of all, definitely implementation and their of AI, and as well AI not only in the last mile solution, but as well like the whole range operation of the any kind of unmanned systems, not only about UAVs but UGVs as well, and AI within as well implementation in the so-called smart munitions and munitions, any kind of that. Secondly, there is definitely development of the UAVs, of the drones within different solutions with the long range as well, and as well development with their specific, I would say, missions of usage of any kind of unmanned systems. We have already some special surprises we are preparing for Russians. We cannot go publicly with that, but as we see very clearly what's going on with the robotic systems, with the ground robotic systems, because they can copy very fast what we are doing here in Ukraine. So we need to prepare and to be innovative and creative with our innovations, but to keep silent as soon as it will appear on the front line. So it will help us to take some time. Definitely there is not maybe totally like military or defense, but cybersecurity. That is globally challenge for all of us, I think, and we have to think about that, and we have to develop that as well. Definitely what already told about any kind of communications. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Vladyslav, a question for you is, I know that you visit a lot of international fairs and shows. You look for the partners for development of your products and business. I would like to ask you, maybe you could tell what you expect as a company, what maybe for some technologies you're looking for, or some partner, like what you expect from this partnership.
Okay, thank you. So really, we are very often visiting some fairs in different countries, and we are trying to make relationships with the big companies. It's so hard, to tell the truth. But what we are expected from these companies. So first of all, we need to change standard navigation system to something like optical flow. I know that a lot of Ukrainian companies almost done this work, but we have no very reliable systems on the front line now. So I think that the next year will be should be without standard navigation system.
Thank you. William Green, another easy question for you. You spoke a lot about what United Kingdom government is doing for Ukraine, and we appreciate a lot your support. But I would like to ask you, how do you think what Ukrainian government and Ukrainian defense industry also could make to make our cooperation better and maybe easier sometimes for you?
Another easy question, thank you. So actually, I think General Andrii referenced this a little bit earlier when she was asked a similar question. And prioritization is really important, and we absolutely understand that everything is important to Ukraine right now. You need more of absolutely everything. When I speak to colleagues and international partners, I always say whatever you're doing needs 2 more zeros to even get close to what Ukraine needs. But for us in the international community to make sure we're being most efficient in the spending of our money, and that we are being the most effective in terms of our support to you, being able to have that conversation about what's most important, what's number 1, 2, and 3 for the UK. You and I speak a lot about what I can do. As the UK, my policy permissions are very liberal. We're very fortunate in that sense. But there are lots of countries who can still contribute significantly to Ukraine who don't have those same policy permissions. So making sure that we're doing the most we possibly can with the money available to support you to win.
So you mean that you need some clear information from us, what is needed, and top priorities from Ukrainians, which are needed?
Yeah, in order, if you can.
Thank you, thank you, noted. Thank you. Brett, I think that your answer will be the last on our panel. And of course, I would like to hear something very encouraging for our friends that we have here. So I'd like to ask you, because you have really, we know that you are father of Switchblade. We know that. So from your perspective as the technical person, what do you see, like listening to all the needs of our armed forces, of innovation cluster, how do you think what we need more to develop and to take all the chances for development Ukrainian defense industry?
Fantastic, thank you for that question. I think it all starts with, I've had, I know I don't look this old, but I've had 4 decades in the US defense industry. And through that, we focused, and I think probably our friends in the UK as well, on exquisite systems, small number of exquisite systems that we will defeat our adversaries with. What this conflict, this war has taught us is that quantity is its own quality in itself. So number 1 is, before I even get into capabilities that are needed, the quantity of systems, of unmanned and loitering munitions needs to increase substantially to have a measurable impact on the battlefield. A handful of exquisite weapons doesn't make a difference in this very large war. But if I move to technologies, and it was already mentioned here, number one, the weakest link of any loitering munition or UAS is it's two things. It's comlink, which of course change in frequencies is playing a cat and mouse game with the Russians, and we got to keep ahead of that constantly, making it more secure, jumping between frequencies. But ultimately, you'd like to be able to operate without the comlink, which means you need a certain amount of artificial intelligence smarts that you plan in ahead of time, that it knows what the target it wants to take, and it's prioritized, and it knows what not to hit. That technology exists. Bringing it to the battlefield economically is the challenge right in front of us right now. The second part is operating in an alt-nav or without global satellite communication. So visual inertial odometry or other means where you can navigate to a location. So ultimately, you could have your comlink severed, you could have your global satellite link severed, and you can still complete the mission successfully. Of course, battery technology is always improving, efficiency of electronics, so longer endurance is definitely continuing to happen. But I think the two big game changers is operating in denied GPS and denied comms environment. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You actually remind me a very important idea. It probably will be like the main conclusion from our conversation. I really agree with you that we need all the possible technologies to appear on Ukrainian front line, because all of our allies, all of our partners has to understand that those are technologies only if they work here. And if they are producing any kind of warfare. If not, those are just technology storage in somewhere somewhere abroad. So we really ask you not to be afraid to bring all the technologies you have to Ukraine, because we can make the best technologies on the technologies that you already have, and it will just save us some time and the life of our people. So thank you so much for that. Thank you to all my guests. I think that we had very short and productive conversation. I'm 100% sure that you guys was not bored while we were speaking, because defense technologies is, we call this game changer. I still think that the game changer are our brave people, and technologies is just a tool that they have in their hands, and we have to do our best to provide the best tools for them to protect us. So thank you so much. And thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Anna, and all your panelists. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the meaningful discussion. And right now, I'd like to invite all of you for a short coffee break. It's going to last for 30 minutes. So we look forward to seeing you back